And I would think that would apply nicely for the players you have coming back. One of the key guys, of course, Coach, Jordan Hall, who withdrew from the NBA draft and is returning. So talk about how that applies to your players coming in new and any transfers.
Yeah, so Jordan Hall had a great freshman campaign. Led the country in assists for freshmen. Part of it was our style of play gave him the opportunity to make decisions with a very particular spacing, and he took it by the reins and went with it. And Jordan is passionate about the game. He aspires to be a professional basketball player. And the NBA draft process was very healthy for him. He learned quite a bit about himself. He learned what NBA teams think of him in his current state. And so him returning gives us just another element of our core that we believe will help us win games. We have two guys on our team right now that are transfers that are bigs. One is from East Carolina and Charles Coleman. The other one's from Vanderbilt and Ejike Obinna. Both will provide an interior presence that we haven't had. That they have game experience. They both started a number of games. They both have differing skill sets. They're both very physical, and they're both high character kids that love basketball. And I think that addition, along with our freshmen that we have that will also be playing, and we have a kid from Maryland. His name is Eric Reynolds, very dynamic guard, can shoot, he's very quick, commits to the defensive end. And we have a Polish kid that was in New York that's a very physical throwback small forward that will have an impact on both sides of the ball because of his physicality and overall athleticism. So we are a taller team. I don't know our average height, but it's probably around 6'6", and that will be impactful for us on the defensive end. Our biggest hurdle will be consistency. And I think that our core, because we have guys that have been here now for at least a year, which core is now changing because of the transfer portal. It's probably a 2-year as opposed to a 4-year core, but still impactful because they'll know our terminology. We won't have to spend a lot of time on the schematics of the defense and the offense because we have guys already that have been in the system. So we're excited about it. It will help us be a little bit further along earlier in the season from a scheme standpoint. And getting over that first hurdle of game one will hopefully get us on the right path.
How did you put together your non-conference schedule? Because look, last year you guys just jumped into the deep end of the pool. You went Auburn, Kansas, Drexel, Villanova, of course, Tennessee, VCU, Rhode Island, St. Bonnie's, and away we go. So, that could have been a result of some cancellation things. I understand that, but I would think you would like a balance and you would like to have a schedule. I like your non-conference this year. You have some good games. You have some competitive games across the board. Talk about how the coaching staff goes through setting up the non-conference and how you went into this season.
Well, it's all predicated on the philosophy of the head coach. So Coach Lang took the job at St. Joe's with a national championship goal in mind. And he is unapologetic about that approach to being the head coach at St. Joe's. And I am aligned with him on that. I agree on that front. Last year, the schedule was built the way it was with, like you said, some COVID-related situations. Scheduling last year was as unique as it will ever be.
Yeah.
Essentially, we had situations where we're setting up games on planes, flying home to play a couple days later because of cancellations. And for that reason, we weren't supposed to play Villanova. And that game had been canceled because of our COVID situation. And then Villanova had a cancellation, and then we slotted it in there with Tennessee right behind it. So it really was not for record purposes or anything along those lines. It was for the mental health of our players that they could just play games.
Sure.
But we are taking the model of anywhere, any place, any time, so that people now recognize, and St. Joe's has a great history
Yeah.
and they have had great players come through here. We have 3 NBA players right now, which is the most in Atlantic 10 in its current state.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that the nation of college basketball, although we don't have the SEC logo, although we don't have that logo, that they recognize who we are. So we built a schedule this upcoming year with balance. We always have the Big Five built in. Very tough games, regardless of record.
Always.
There's a city rivalry emotionally that makes it completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already built in. It's a great addition to our schedule. But being involved in the Wooden legacy with ESPN running it is a big deal for us, because we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves on a platform to get national exposure. We feel that we have a program that is high major, and we are capable of existing in that space and balancing it out with home games. I mean, the biggest thing for us too is we have a great fan base, and we want to make sure that we play in front of them. So
yeah.
We were able to find a good balance, as you said, of games in front of our fans, our very passionate fans here at St. Joe's, and also putting ourselves in a national light where people recognize that we're a high-level program that produces NBA players and can make runs in the NCAA tournament.